Oh yeah, the GameCube. Lots of great games and my personal favorite, to be honest. You see, the GameCube is known for a lot of things. The small size, the tiny discs, an expensive library of games. The list goes on and on and on, but where do I even begin? I mean, look at this thing. They literally gave us a handle so that we could take it anywhere around the house. Not to mention the screen accessory, which is hard to find nowadays, may I add. The screen literally let us play our games anywhere we wanted to. The GameCube was just different than its competitors at the time, and it's what made the GameCube, well, a GameCube. It had a unique Nintendo feel to it, and the name, you can't forget about the name. The people over at Nintendo really hit it out of the park with this one.
Listen here, motherfucker. You got 30 minutes before the deadline. If I don't got a fucking name for this new console within 30 minutes, your ass is fired. You hear me? Fired. So I better have that shit on my desk now.
Well, it's a cube that plays games. Huh. And the rest was history. You see, the GameCube's main flaw was the tiny discs. It's what made it unique, but it's also what made third parties not want to come over, simply because the discs were just too small with limited space, as they could only hold about 1.5 gigabytes of data, whereas the PlayStation at the time was using full-size discs, where a single layered disc could hold up to 4.7 gigabytes and dual layered could hold up to 8.5 gigabytes. A drastically big difference compared to the 1.5 gigabyte limit. But that didn't stop Nintendo. You see, the GameCube is the place where almost every main Nintendo franchise had its own game there. We had Mario, Zelda, F-Zero, Metroid, Kirby, Wario, Smash Bros, Star Fox, Pokemon, Mario Kart, Fire Emblem, even Luigi got his own game. Matter of fact, it was a launch title. Now I say almost because they forgot about my boy Ness. Nintendo, where the fuck is the next Earthbound? We haven't seen a new goddamn game since the Super Nintendo days. But that's a topic for another video. Save us, please. But that's not all, senor. No. You see, the games released on this thing were something else. Many of the games released on this system are some of the best to ever come out, such as Resident Evil 4 and Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Unlike Resident Evil 4, which was supposed to be a GameCube exclusive, that's a bitch move, Capcom. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes actually was a GameCube exclusive and still to this day is a GameCube exclusive and has not been released on any other platform ever since. The PlayStation original was amazing and is still considered one of the best Metal Gear Solid games of all time. Twin Snakes was essentially a remake of the original PlayStation game. Now yes, some people do still prefer the original, however, due to it never being released outside of the GameCube, this is definitely something that all Metal Gear Solid fans should get and all GameCube collectors should want to have in their collection. And that's just two examples right there. Subscribe! Other games that sparked the fire were also born on this thing, such as the Luigi's Mansion series, which is doing pretty good, honestly. And its newest game, Luigi's Mansion 3, just came out on the Switch a few years ago. Hold up. Hey, yo, what the fuck? Well, shit, never mind. It's been a cool minute, but that's besides the point. Smash Bros. Melee is also one of the best Smash Bros. That has ever been released and is still very popular till this day, and a lot of people still do competitive play on it. Wind Waker, on the other hand, yes, while being damn near stoned to death when it first came out, mainly for its cartoonish look, now has taken a turn and is one of the best Zelda games that has ever been made, with many people arguably putting it as top 3. Maybe even number 1. The last time that we saw this game was on the Nintendo Wii U, but obviously due to the lack of sales, not a lot of people got a chance to experience this game, so there's been a lot of people asking for a remake on the Nintendo Switch, and we are finally going to get it. Well, it's coming to the Switch Online, but I mean, it's not what we asked for, but okay. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is also seen as one of the best, and even though Nintendo did bring a remake to this on the Nintendo Switch, a lot of people still prefer the original on the GameCube, which just shows how good of a game that was at the time. And if you know me, you know I hate sports. No, not that one, but with the GameCube I actually found it fun to play Mario Tennis and Mario Strikers, and that's basically all I have so far. But regardless, it managed to keep my attention for longer than 30 seconds. You see, these were actually fun. Some more unique stuff that we actually saw come to the GameCube was actually the DK bongos. Now you see, the DK bongos were basically some actual bongos that you would plug into your GameCube in order to play some of the Donkey Kong games that were released on this thing. On top of that, we also ended up getting a dance pad with Dance Dance Revolution, which had Mario in it. You see, we don't see stuff like that no more, and that just shows how unique the system was. And while we are on the topic of attachments, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the Game Boy player. Do you really have 2 GameCubes? Yes, I have 2 GameCubes. Leave me alone. You have your problems, I have mine. But basically, the Game Boy player used to come with this right here, which was a Game Boy player disc. Now yes, it was required for you to have the disc in order to use the Game Boy player. However, the way that it would work was you basically would get your GameCube, and then on the bottom, as you could see, it had a little spot for it. Obviously, it has a plug right there, so you won't be able to see that. But once you take the cap off, you can go ahead and plug this in, and it just basically leeches on. But it fits quite perfectly, actually. It snaps right in, you will hear a little click, and then you have 2 little screws on the side. But after the attachment was all the way in, you would go ahead and open up your GameCube, and then you would insert the Game Boy player disc. You'd then be able to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. Now, even though the GameCube only sold a little bit over 21 million consoles throughout its lifetime, it has to be doing something right, considering that a lot of people years down the line are barely starting to discover this thing, and they're starting to see that it's actually a pretty good system. One way you can basically tell is just on how all the games are being priced at. Most of these games are all around the $50 plus range, with some of them going even more than that, costing you your firstborn child. Yes, your firstborn. Look at these prices. You got Gacha Force sitting at $393 right now, and then on top of that, Go-Go Hypergrind is at $450 with Cubivore at $490. Now, if you think that's enough right there, no, there's a lot more than that. Disney's Basketball is over $1,000, my guy. Like, literally. And if you want the holy grail of all GameCube games, $2,400 damn near for Pokemon Box. And don't even get me started with the big box variant, because that right there is more at $3,500. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just say $4,000 after taxes. And of course it would be Pokemon that takes the lead with the most expensive game on GameCube. Matter of fact, it's not even a game. It's literally just to store Pokemon. But you see, the reason that this is so expensive is because this was an exclusive to the Nintendo store back in the day. You could only find this online, or if you literally lived in New York or went to go visit there. Plus, it doesn't help the way that the market is set up for Pokemon and all Pokemon stuff right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I made a video talking about it on why Pokemon is a literal nightmare for us fans right now. Anyways, back to the GameCube. A lot of these games are just timeless classics now, and everything about it is just perfect. The Wii had backwards compatibility with the GameCube as well, and still to this day, many Smash Bros players like to use the GameCube controller as their preferred method of playing. I mean, you know the controller is good when not only is it backwards compatible on the Wii, but it also works on the Wii U and the Switch. So it works on not just the GameCube, but on 3 generations after it. The Wii U came out with an adapter that also can be used on the Switch, just so that you can use the GameCube controller on modern systems. I mean, listen, my guys, it does not get any better than that. Not to mention the Wavebird controller at the time was literally out of this world, and it improved wireless gaming by a landslide. And still to this day is one of the best controllers you can find in the market. Well, used hand market, but still, you know what I mean. And honestly, I'm just glad I discovered this piece of hardware, and me being the collector that I am and having all of these systems, the GameCube is still my favorite console, even though it was not my first console. So before you guys start saying, oh, hey, well, obviously it was his first console, he's biased to it. No, it was actually my most recent pickup. And it's honestly still climbed up the ranks really quickly. So the GameCube is easily my #1 system ever made. And now with Nintendo adding the GameCube over to the Nintendo Switch Online, I'm definitely gonna try to get a Switch too, just so that I can play my GameCube games on the go.
Oh shit!